right, Sean Zattel back at it again with the former super lightweight champion of the world, my man Chris. Oh, no, was it welterweight? It was welterweight.
No, it was
junior
welter, super lightweight.
WBO against Provodnikov. Okay, I forget every now and then. But also hosting the PPV.com show this Saturday for Pacquiao-Barrios. And Chris, man, you've had a lot of deep dives on this fight, so I won't hold you too long. What's the best advice for Barrios? What's he got to execute to win?
For Barrios, I think, in this fight, listen, he's the tallest fighter that Manny Pacquiao's ever fought. He's taller than me, he's taller than Margarito, he's taller than De La Hoya. Even though Manny's good at fighting taller fighters, I think using that length is important and trying not to get into a firefight too early. You want to test the older guy's legs. I wouldn't stand and trade with Manny until at least the middle rounds. But up until then, use that jab, keep it long, and use a little bit of push and pull. Because Barrios can actually do that pretty well. He did that against Akhmadov, another southpaw. He was able to pull back, boom, come back with his right hand, left hook. Did that pretty well, especially early on in that fight. I think that'll be a really good tactic for Manny, especially early on, because old legs, they take a while to warm up, and they get tired fast. So you want to try to get going early, try and get Manny to reach, fall forward, get off balance, similar to what we saw in that exhibition fight when he fought the kickboxer. He fell forward quite a bit, fighting a guy who's built very similar to Mario Barrios. So I think making Manny reach, fall over his skis a little bit, and look to counter, and then just be careful when you're jabbing at mid-distance, because Manny's got that great hook over the top. Manila Ice is that right hook. He loves to come over guys' jabs at middle distance. And just not get too square in the beginning, because Manny's straight left hand is probably still hard, because power is usually the last thing to go.
Yeah, I think it was in that interview with Fight Hub where you said, look, I'll pretty much know early. If Manny's squaring up and falling in, he's cooked.
Yeah.
But if he's bouncing around and can pop Barrios with the straight left, what do you think will happen? Will he be that guy that can bounce around and touch him early with the left, or will he look old?
I don't expect Manny to be able to bounce around at all, honestly. We didn't see much of that in the Keith Thurman fight. He was already a different Manny. He was more flat-footed. He stood in front of Keith. He showed incredible durability in that fight, because he took some damage, and Keith can punch. So he stayed in the pocket, but the power was still there. He was still deceptive offensively. I think Manny's best option is to attack hard and fast early. You don't want to test those legs late. I think Barrios is there to be hit at times. He will get square. He will bang. The Mexican Warrior will want to trade and engage. And I think that's Manny's best bet. At this point, at 46, power is what Manny is. I mean, I don't expect him to be moving in and out with fast feet. I don't expect him to be cutting angles. I don't expect him to be throwing volume combinations. I expect him to hit hard. So I think he should save it up and look for the good one and put that thing on the chin, see what happens.
Psychologically, just sizing up the fight and everything, has Barrios shown Pacquiao too much respect? I know that's who he is, but sometimes it looks like that's almost a mind game Manny does. He wants you to be on his side and smiling at him, and boom, then he gets you on fight night.
Yeah, Manny's very deceptive in that way. He's hard to hate. He's hard not to like. He's always having a good time and smiling, especially now. I mean, it seems like he's happy to be back. But
seems happy to see you even.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've seen each other a few times over the years, and he's a very respectful person, so it's good, as am I. And I think Barrios is too, but we see the seriousness in Barrios' face at the press conference. I think he knows what's in front of him, and I think he understands that this is a huge opportunity. And listen, losing to a 46-year-old, you don't want that on your record. So Barrios is certainly taking this seriously. Also, it's Manny Pacquiao. He's been watching him since he was a kid. He knows how dangerous this guy can be or once was. So that's going to be in your mind. I don't care how old he is.
How, when you look at Foreman, like he withstood like 8 rounds of punishment, set up for one moment, one punch power. Hopkins, he wasn't as quick at this age as he once was. So, how extraordinary is this if Manny pulls this off? Basically, not changing his style. I know you mentioned he's not moving around as much, but he's still trying to basically do his same Pacquiao stuff.
So in that sense, I actually think this win will be bigger than both than Foreman being the oldest heavyweight champion, because it's heavyweight. But also Foreman was fighting. Foreman was fighting every month for a couple years there to get his timing back that finally worked for that Michael Moore fight. Bernard's just super crafty, and he would slow the pace down. He would make sure that less and less punches were thrown. And at that time, he was fighting at 175. Manny's still fighting in the same weight class that he was fighting top guys at a bunch of years ago. So it's a very different task. Also, he's been out of the ring for 4 years, so that worries me. The timing, and at this stage of Manny's career, he's not going to be overwhelm you. He's going to need timing. He's going to need to deliver that left-hand shot. And also, how many does he have in the arsenal? How many does he have in the holster to be able to fire with knockout power? So I think timing is going to play a really, really big part in where Manny and how Manny can be successful. So if he was to win and pull this off, I mean, I think it's bigger than all the fights we mentioned.
If you have to call it now, then, and I know sometimes you change your pick on the way in and everything. Yeah, no, it's called having an open mind,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Being open to, but if you had to call it, how do you visualize it playing out? Who's going to win and how?
I think we're going to see an early charge from Manny, and I think he may even have some success, especially early on, win maybe a couple rounds. But I think the youth and the size of Barrios is going to win out in the long run. And it just depends. It depends on what kind of pressure that Barrios can put on. Can he get him out of there? Can he get a corner stoppage? It's very possible. But can Manny get to the end? Can Manny hit hard enough and still be durable and elusive enough to make it, the 12? That's possible too. But I think that this is Mario Barrios' fight to lose. He's got just too many things on his side. His weight, his belt, his age, his activity, his size and length. And all I keep hearing from all these people around Barrios' camp is how hard he hits. I've been hearing it for years. I remember Virgil Hunter saying it when I was in camp with Danny Jacobs 7 years ago. And he's like, hey, say what you will about this kid, he can punch. Bob Santos is a friend of mine. He's been telling me about Mario for a long time. He says he can punch. Thurman's done some interviews. He's like, yeah, this guy can hit. So the power's there. And he does a lot of things. I know I've done a bunch of interviews where there's things that he does that play right into where Manny's best. But he also does a lot of things that trouble Manny. So I think it's Barrios' fight to lose.
And then Chris, just for you, man, like having fought one of the greatest fighters that ever lived in a title fight where you were actually the champion and everything, do you ever feel like that gives you a link to the greats, even of the past, like Robinson and Ali, like Duran, because you fought one of them?
But actually we fought for his title. I was
that's right.
I was world champion 140.
Right.
I moved up to 47 to fight him
I
for
always
his title.
it's both WBO
I know,
and you got it.
I know. Listen, there was a time where I was one of the best fighters in the world, and I can proudly say that I beat a champion when I beat Ruslan Pavannikov. I didn't win a Vega title. I beat the guy. I beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. I carry that feather in my cap, and being able to step in the ring with Manny Pacquiao is an amazing thing, and Barrios is about to get that too. And I never really thought about it in terms of a link to the other fighters, but I just know, that I've been there. I spent 12 rounds in the ring with one of the greatest fighters of our generation, and that's something to be proud about. I'm still salty about it. I wish I won, but that's just the competitor in me.
Well, remember Brandon Rios had a quote where he's like, there was a certain point in the fight where I was like, oh shit, like Pacquiao's doing the thing I've seen so many, it's happening to me now.
I got asked that actually. Someone was like, Paulie Malignaggi actually said this. He brought up a question when we were talking to Bob Santos during a Pro Box TV interview, and he goes, hey, what's going to be going through Mario's head when, the corners step out of the ring, the ref is talking to the judge right before you and you're across from that man. Is he gonna look at that and be like, that's Manny Pacquiao? And it's funny because it made me think. I was like, you know what? I didn't look at it like that during my fight. I looked across the ring and I was like, I'm about to whip this guy's ass. And then he hit me in the first round with a straight left hand. Like it was almost immediate. And then I was like, holy shit, yeah, I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao. It wasn't until he hit me where I was like, yep.
I saw fighters wear that expression with Floyd too. Mm-hmm. It was like, I watched a lot of. I did all my homework. I've been fought since I was a kid. But
all the things I thought I could stop, I can't. Right. That's when you know you're really good. And that's why Floyd, I think, is one of the greatest, because Floyd had he really had a handful of moves that he made work on absolutely everyone. You could see it. He was doing, the stab jab down low. He was doing the walk down high guard. He was doing the lead hook. It was I've seen him do this so many times to everybody in different styles. It didn't matter if you were a southpaw or orthodox. He still hit you with the same stuff. And that's because he was just so technically sound, so fundamental, and so aware of what was going on in the ring.
Because Tim Bradley, he would tell me, I think Crawford would beat Floyd, man. He has tendencies. If Crawford's more unpredictable, and I'm like, I don't care how many tendencies you're picking up on. I don't know, man.
Because he just did it. That's the thing. He executed so perfect, and it goes to that Bruce Lee quote.
The punch 1,000 times.
I don't fear a man who threw a million kicks one time. I fear a man who threw one kick a million times, and that's Floyd.
Right.
Yeah.
and Manny was kind of just unpredictable. And
Yeah, Manny's. So that was another thing that surprised me about Manny. Manny is.
that push-pull you were talking about earlier, that's one of his secret
Yes,
sauces, right?
yes.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
controlled chaos because
Right.
it seems chaotic, and that was the thing when I fought him that I really recognized. Like I really thought that he was just an athlete and he was just explosive and he's gonna fly in. No, he sets things up. He's very aware. His boxing IQ is very high. He's one of the greatest. It truly is. And I've fought a lot of great fighters. He's the best I've ever been in the ring with.
Head and shoulders
Hands
kind
down.
of thing.
And not even a question. Not even a question. Best I ever fought. And that's saying a lot. So, Manny Pacquiao, and here he is. He's back at 46.
We'll see. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for your time.
Yeah,